the ticking clock on Jonathan Kuminga's future with the Golden State Warriors has morphed into a silent thriller where every late summer day tightens. The noose on what could be either a defining reshape of the dynasty or a fracturing blow to Dub Nation's soul. A saga unfolding with more layers than the Oracle Arena once hummed with during the peak splash era. The stakes now ratcheted up amid whispers of sign-and-trade standoffs, cold front office calculations, and the looming specter of a player caught between a promising legacy and his quest for stardom that the Warriors seem unwilling or unable to fully embrace. Welcome back to Warriors News Fan Report, where raw truths collide with splash-era passion. Smash that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell so your heart never misses a beat. We're diving into a maelstrom of speculation and sharp new intel, fresh off Anthony Slater's bombshell revelations about Kuminga's contract saga, revealing how what once looked like a straightforward extension turned into an intricate chess match of numbers, leverage, and divergent visions. The truth? Golden State never handed Kuminga a concrete offer during free agency itself, although behind closed doors, when the rookie extension window was still open, figures might have danced between $25 and $30 million a year, a tantalizing prospect, but one that's now a relic of a past the Warriors may be reluctant to reignite. Instead, what we're witnessing is a raw, almost clinical stalemate, with Golden State's recent efforts late last week to bridge gaps yielding an offer reportedly pegged somewhere near a flat $20 million annual commitment on a 2+1 deal, and offer Kuminga and his agent Aaron Turner have firmly rebuffed, emphasizing that their pursuit isn't just about money, but the opportunity to become a centerpiece, a true offensive pivot, a star in their own right. And here's the kicker: that star's ideal spot, the place Kuminga aims for as his platform, it's not in Golden State. Instead, his camp's eyes are focused sharply on a sign-and-trade scenario, hunting for a partner team willing to elevate Kuminga's role and meet the front office's demand for a young player plus a first-round pick, a demand both Sacramento and Phoenix flirted with, but ultimately couldn't consummate. The Kings, evocative of old trade deadline dramas, dangled a package including Malik Monk, a player whose trade eligibility only kicks in mid-September, and Devin Vassell, a lottery pick who remains untouchable until later this month. But the stalling clock and these legal shackles have complicated any potential deal, leaving Golden State seemingly unwilling to settle for less than a future first-round pick, which Sacramento has balked at parting with. On the other hand, the Suns' interest appears more intense, but no less frustrating, offering packages dotted with names like Grayson Allen and Royce O'Neal that Golden State's brass has already tagged as buy low, gambits unworthy of Kuminga's burgeoning talent and potential. Meanwhile, somewhere in the franchise circle whisper that trading Kuminga is less about recouping equitable value and more about removing a disruptive puzzle piece that doesn't quite fit the championship formula built around splash-era legends Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, and Draymond Green, all while looking toward the next evolution of the dynasty with fresh pieces that can share the load on both ends of the floor. But what if the impasse deepens? Kuminga's camp holds a wild card, the option to accept the $8 million qualifying offer by the October 1st deadline, an audacious move that would slap a no-trade clause onto Kuminga, essentially bench-locking him in Golden State for one more season while giving him restricted free agency control only in 2026. An NBA executive leaked to Fred Katz that if Kuminga pulls this trigger, Golden State's team-building strategy goes off the rails, leaving the Warriors F from a cap management and trade flexibility standpoint. This proves the ultimate power play. Kuminga not only keeps his off-season options open, but threatens to freeze the team's roster moves, especially blocking any trade that Golden State desperately needs to make before bringing in veteran shooters and facilitators like Al Horford or Anthony Melton, whose rumored verbal agreements hinge on Kuminga's uncertain status. The pressure cooker intensifies with the knowledge that Kuminga plans to represent the Democratic Republic of the Congo in Afrobasket starting August 12th And with no contract security in hand, a potential injury could threaten his financial future, adding another layer to this tense contract chess match. So, will the Warriors and Kuminga find a resolution in the coming 2 weeks before the tournament kicks off? The clock is running fast, and the stakes couldn't be higher as this puzzle could dictate not only this season's roster construction, but the health of Dub Nation's faith in the franchise's direction. And it presents a brutal mirror. Kuminga, a 23-year-old with upside glowing bright, but demanding a starring role Golden State can't or won't give. The Warriors, convinced that while Kuminga flashes star potential, he's not quite the franchise centerpiece their future demands, all while they stand firm on their trade demands that are slowly straining market interest and heightening the sense of a stalemate destined to hurt all sides. And then there's the elephant in the room, Nikola Vucevic. Mark Stein reminded us earlier in the year that the Warriors popped up as suitors at the last season's trade deadline when Chicago tried to move the big man, but talks fizzled amid unworkable trade terms. Now with Chicago's ownership notoriously frugal and unlikely to cut bait on Vucevic's $20 million contract before the season, we watch as whispers grow louder about a mid-season B-out scenario, something Bulls insiders tell us is more plausible than a deal happening now. And if that B-out comes, should Golden State pounce? Personally, I say bring Vucevic in on a modest 1-year minimum deal to bolster the front court. Imagine easing the workload on Quinn Cook and Al Horford, adding a skilled, versatile big with elite touch and passing skills who can stretch the floor and ease scoring burdens. Sure, D could be a liability, but at a bargain cost. The benefits far outweigh the drawbacks in a team still searching for rotational depth and veteran presence. But will the front office share that vision, or will salary cap constraints and internal priorities push that notion to the sidelines? Meanwhile, in the background, rumors swirl like the Warriors courting free agents like Seth Curry and Malcolm Brogdon on vet minimum deals. Promises whispered in summer league hallways, but all tethered tightly to unlocking the Kuminga conundrum, as the financial dominoes can't fall until this saga plays out. As the days unfold and Dub Nation holds its breath, the fragmentation between player ambition and franchise vision, between contract numbers and team chemistry, between the dream of reclaimed glory and the reality of hard bargaining looms larger than ever. Could this be the watershed moment that turns everything on its head? Will Jonathan Kuminga finally take the qualifying offer, pivoting toward a prove-it season and risking his long-term payday? Or will the Warriors bite the bullet, shift their demands, and orchestrate a sign and trade that clears the way for new weapons to rise alongside the returning Splash Brothers? Is Nikola Vucevic the forgotten piece waiting in the wings to inject a midseason spark or depth charge that ignites another charge at the throne? As a lifelong Dub Nation believer, my pulse is racing just writing this. The tension between holding fast to a proud championship foundation and embracing an uneasy transitional rebuild feels electric, fraught with peril, but shining with the unmistakable fire of resurrection. But is this the ignition point for our next title run or the crack that splits our legacy? Drop your unfiltered takes in the comments. I'll be right there, heart in hand. If you've been pacing the room, thrown your phone across the couch, or yelled at the ceiling because this Kuminga saga feels like watching a slow-motion car crash while your team's title window cracks wide open, you're not alone, and damn let's get that rage out together right here, right now, because this isn't just another contract sitch. It's a seismic fracture ripping at the soul of this franchise. We're in the eye of a hurricane where the calm before the storm is just suffocating. And every second that Kuminga's name isn't inked in gold ink feels like a countdown to a blow-up bigger than the breakout years or even the raw emotion of that Game 7 victory parade down Market Street. Here's what nobody's willing to say loud enough. This isn't just about money or even just about basketball strategy. It's a reckoning for the Warriors' identity, a brutal testament to how hard it is for dynasties to bend, to evolve, to survive beyond the splash. And it's happening right before our eyes, split between ambition and loyalty, between fading glory and next-gen hope. Picture the locker room now. Curry, the man who's carried us through blood, sweat, and tears, looking across at Kuminga, who flashes that unreal potential but carries the weight of the world's expectations and his own, simmering frustration knowing that the future they once envisioned as a polished championship succession plan is now a tangled mess no one wants to admit might unravel everything else. Draymond, the heartbeat defender engine of grit and fire, must be quietly clawing at the edges of this chaos, trying to hold together chemistry that's fraying at the seams, knowing that if Kuminga leaves or fades into the background, the Warriors lose not just talent, but a spark of unpredictability crucial in the league's madness. Kerr's voice? Probably steady, but there's a cold knot in his chest because coaching this team when the roster is held hostage by contract chess and unspoken tensions isn't just a headache, it's a test of his legendary adaptability. And then throw Moody and Wiggins into the mix, two Warriors themselves forced to navigate shifting roles, watching all this unfold like a chessboard ready to be upended. The whisper networks are alive, front office folks debating it perhaps, just perhaps, hanging on to Kuminga is a leash too tight to sustain. But trading him might mean losing the very reason fans dared to dream beyond the Splash era's twilight. What if the Warriors lose their mojo, their core heartbeat, just because they couldn't square away contract math in time? What if the fans in the stands, the global Dub Nation family, start feeling that unease in their bones, that shift from unstoppable dynasty to a franchise clinging to past glories, and that's a scar that no parade can heal? The rumors swarm like locusts, that sign and trade falling through not because the market isn't there, but because Golden State's demands sound like a fortress wall no one can storm without losing too much, that Kuminga's camp might be ready to leverage the qualifying offer as their ultimate ace, a power move that throws the Warriors' roster flexibility into a nightmare and could paralyze moves crucial for adding the veteran shooters Kerr dreams of. Imagine the pressure cooker scenario from inside the Chase Center's war room, the clock ticking, Warriors brass staring at cap sheets desperate to clear room for Horford or Melton, yet shackled by a player who might silently refuse to budge until his vision is honored or chaos reigns. Meanwhile, Kuzma sits on the sidelines of speculation like a ghost in the machine. The potential be-out of Vucevic, a tantalizing but risky move that embodies everything the Warriors could need front court. Depth, passing finesse, shooting touch, but also everything they might reject on principle or price. Is this hesitation by the brass a soldier's caution or a tragic blindness to what their dynasty needs to morph into? The Suns' flirtations and King's stall tactics have fans wondering if the league's power brokers see Golden State's patience as weakness or strength. Do they smell blood or respect the legacy? And from the outside, we hear whispers of Seth Curry and Brogdon, veterans dangling like life rafts in the deep waters of this offseason, but those lifelines are tangled up in Kuminga's fate, a fate that now feels more like a noose or a lifeline depending on which side of the fence you're screaming from. We remember what it means to bleed blue and gold chasing every championship banner, weathering every injury, clutch shot, and off-court drama. And yet, this is the big one, the crossroads where the Warriors either reinvent themselves or watch the dynasty's chapters close silently, painfully, and maybe too soon. The stakes couldn't be higher, and through the haze of all this tension, there's a raw, aching question: can this core of Curry, Thompson, Draymond still lead a fractured, evolving cast to glory? Or is Kuminga's stand, his refusal to fade, quietly the spark that either ignites a new fire or burns bridges too deep to rebuild? I can feel it in my bones. This season will tell us everything about who these Warriors really are beyond the rings, beyond the records. It's not just basketball anymore. It's about loyalty, legacy, and the brutal business of dreams colliding. And you know what? No one in Dub Nation is backing down from that fight. Not now. Not ever. So right now, spill it all in the comments. Where does your heart land in this chaos? Do you stand with Kuminga's hunger for stardom, or do you trust the front office's cold calculations? Are you bracing for brilliance or heartbreak? I'm here, firing back with every ounce of warrior spirit. Let's rage, debate, and wrestle with this story because this is our family, our pain, and our glory all wrapped into one hell of a season to come.